company, Apple, a very fed-up MAGA financial news host, publicly called out the stupidity of Trump's strategy in a heated exchange with one of Trump's top economic advisors. You have to see this. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, it says something that Trump's economic strategy is so stupid that not only is he floundering in the polls with respect to the economy and the tariffs, but he's losing high-profile support from high-profile MAGA figures like Joe Kernan of CNBC, whom we've discussed in previous videos. This is a guy who always grades Trump on a curve, gives him the benefit of the doubt, very conservative, but even he finds himself increasingly in situations where he's throwing his hands up saying, what the hell is Trump doing? So I want to play these clips. I want you to see these clips of Joe Kernan's exchange with Kevin Hassett, one of Trump's top economic advisors. It's a sight to behold.
And we're trying to figure out an off-ramp for Apple. It'd be a $3,000 iPhone if they tried to make everything here.
$3,500.
$3,500 for a good one, for the kind you'd like, probably, Hassett. But what's the offer?
I'm a smoke signal kind of guy.
What's the supply? Yeah, what's the supply chain issue? I mean, what is Tim Cook supposed to do?
Right.
Okay, so you can see the frustration on his face and hear it in his voice. He's like, this is stupid. An iPhone is already very expensive. It's also one of the most commonly used phones in this country, so a lot of people who buy iPhones will be very pissed off, many of them probably Trump supporters as well. What exactly is Apple CEO Tim Cook supposed to do to prevent Trump from doing something so stupid and so reckless that would hurt Apple consumers, and the American people as a whole? I mean, again, the frustration in Kernan's voice and on his face is he's apoplectic about this, and he's increasingly so because of the recklessness of Trump's strategies. I want you to listen to the totally unsatisfying response from Kevin Hassett.
Smoke signal kind of guy.
What's the supply? Yeah, what's the supply chain issue? I mean, what is Tim Cook supposed to do?
Right. Well, we'll see how it works out. But the bottom line is that what we're trying to do is onshore as much as we can in the U.S. and make it so that the U.S. is not hyper-dependent on imports from China. Right. And so I think that one of the things we're seeing is that people are moving way faster than you might expect. If you look at the 20% equipment investment in the first quarter before the tariffs even came in, with supply chains moving fast and just-in-time inventory management and AI, I think you're going to be astonished at how quickly stuff moves onshore.
But Kevin,
and that's what we're shooting for. And in the interim, then we'll see how it works out. But they need to move their stuff onshore as much as possible to make it so that the U.S. economy is secure and not prone to Chinese extortion.
And he's just smiling while he says, oh, we'll see what happens. It's just total wish casting here. What do you want Tim Cook to do? What can he meaningfully do here? This idea that I'll build them in America. Not only do we not have comparative and competitive advantage to build iPhones domestically here in the United States, so again, it's ridiculous. But even if you wanted to pursue that goal, it would take years to onshore those sorts of things, sorts of factories and things here. What are you wanting? It's the lack of clear, concise, demonstrative, concrete answer is part of the reason why people like Joe Kernan are so fed up. But it's not just Kernan. There was another exchange with one of Kernan's co-hosts, and we'll play this and unpack it together as well.
Hey, we had Ray Washburn here earlier. Not only is he a big industry leader, he served in the first Trump administration. He said, look, 8, 9, 10% tariff, business can figure out. They can find ways to do those margins. If you get above that, 20, 30, even 50%, well, that's not the case. So are you thinking eventually tariffs will get down to the level that businesses can negotiate within, 10% or less? Or do you think that a lot of this is going to be paid by the American consumer too?
Well, in the end, that's going to be up to the president, but we've seen that 10 is a place that a lot of people have been pushed to, and I would guess that if they come in with good enough offers, then they'll stay there or perhaps even below. But if they come in with retaliation and they don't open their markets to U.S. goods, then it'll go the other way. The bottom line, though, is that it's astonishing how little foreign markets have been open to U.S. goods. And they're opening up in these deals like you couldn't believe. And so
what deals? What deals? We were told 90 deals in 90 days. Where are they? We're, again, a third of the way through. We're getting close to halfway through, and we have nothing. We have a framework for a future deal with the United Kingdom, which, with all due respect to the United Kingdom, that's not exactly a bombshell. They're not our first, second, or third biggest trading partners, right? It'd be one thing, I suppose, if you could hang your hat on a concrete deal with like a top fiver, but I think the UK is like our 11th biggest trading partner. We have a trade surplus. We have a trade surplus with the United Kingdom, not a trade deficit. There's nothing inherently wrong with trade deficits. Trump has that just dead ass wrong. But even on that, we don't have a trade deficit with the United Kingdom. It's so insane. And Hassan, I don't envy him here. Don't have a lot of sympathy for him either because he chose this damn job. He has to go out there with a stupid smile on his face and be like, yeah, everything is like hunky-dory. Everything's good, 100%. Yeah, it's just like so great. CNBC has an article write-up about this. Trump advisor Hassan says, quote, "We don't want to harm Apple with iPhone tariffs." He notes, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassan said the Trump administration does not want to harm Apple with tariffs, even though that's exactly what they would do. Trump said in a social media post that Apple will have to pay a tariff of 25% or more for iPhones made outside the U.S. By some estimates, a U.S.-made iPhone could cost up to $3,500. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassan said the Trump administration does not want to harm Apple with tariffs. Quote, "Everybody's trying to make it seem like it's a catastrophe if there's a tiny little tariff on them right now to try to negotiate down the tariffs," Hassan told the CNBC Squawk Box on Tuesday. Quote, "In the end, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the update is, but we don't want to harm Apple." I mean, just teeny tiny, $3,500 iPhone. No big deal. Teeny tiny, negligible. Listen, if you have to, for your patriotic American duty, you people bitching and moaning right now, if you need to go back to 2004 and pick up one of those like Nokia phone bricks that was simultaneously a cell phone and also a weapon of self-defense, then that's what you need to do. The sense of sort of entitlement. I mean, what's next? You think you're entitled to avocado toast? Like, this is the attitude that these losers are adopting. Hassan's comments come after Trump said in a social media post that Apple will have to pay a tariff of 25% or more for iPhones made outside the U.S. Apple has historically manufactured its products in foreign countries, including China, India, and Vietnam. Quote, "I've long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones will be sold in the United States of America, will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else," Trump wrote in the post. "If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter." By some estimates, a U.S.-made iPhone could cost as much as $3,500. But if you think that Apple has a factory someplace that's got to set off a number of iPhones that it produces and it needs to sell them no matter what, then Apple will bear those tariffs, not consumers, because it's an elastic supply, Hassan said. Hassan's comments continue the administration's push to pressure companies to shoulder the cost burden of Trump's tariffs instead of raising prices for consumers. Earlier this month, Trump told retail giant Walmart to eat the tariffs after the company warned it would have to pass the added costs on. Shares of Apple were up more than 1% on Tuesday. Apple did not immediately respond to CNBC for a comment. But this is where we are. Trump knows, and his advisors know, even the seemingly stupid ones, that consumers will inevitably pay the price of Trump's tariffs. And that's why Trump and everybody else are panicking now and demanding that Walmart and Apple and everybody else just eat the cost, assume the cost of the tariffs. And again, very Marxist and communist of them. If Vice President Kamala Harris or President Biden, President Obama, Senator Bernie Sanders, AOC, if any of these people had advocated for whatever reason, let's say price controls or, some sort of centralized planning of the market, any sort of market interference, using the government to impede in the laissez-faire free market, these same people would be bitching nonstop. How dare you? How dare you tell a successful American company they should have to cut into their profit margin? That's Stalin talk. That's Mao. It's communism. And we don't have that here now. Oh my God. But Donald Trump is really dumb and has it in his mind that tariffs are this all-purpose tool that he can just like swing around like a sledgehammer and he'll somehow fix every problem. And in order for this to work the way that he imagines it will, we have to force companies to eat the cost of these tariffs, these unnecessary, painful tariffs, so we don't accrue the political consequence of seeing inflation rise. Oh, that's okay. These people are unprincipled, hypocritical losers. And again, to any Democratic lawmaker or future Democratic lawmaker out there, keep that in mind. This party, this Republican Party, this cult of personality will say one thing and do another the moment it's convenient. So when they're like, no, you can't force companies to like do certain things because that's like price control, it's communism. Give them the finger. Give these people the finger. It's like, nah, if this were Trump, you would just swallow that so eagerly. You would just embrace it. So we're not going to take anything you say into consideration because it's not about principle. At the end of the day, you're giving Trump license to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, with impunity. And that means Democrats should have the confidence. Now, they need to be persuasive. They need to try to persuade people to adopt these strategies, to embrace these strategies. I'm not saying that they shouldn't try to persuade, but they should still go full steam ahead. Go after a robust progressive agenda. And if people say, well, people accuse us of communism and Marxism, fuck it. Who cares? Because the sort of communism that Republicans have in their mind, they employ for dumb reasons the moment it's convenient. So if Democrats, God willing, ever get back in power and want to, say, lower drug prices for the American people in a way that might, press into pharmaceutical companies' profits margin, and when Republicans are like, no, you can't do that because that's Marxism, give them the finger and say it doesn't matter.